How y'all doing? My name is Joshua O'Neill. I am the owner of 593 Motorsports Kart Club. So at 593, we are a dirt oval go-kart track. Um, the track means the world to me, not just because we get to go have a good time, spend time with family, friends, and meet all kinds of other people, but ultimately because I get to enjoy my time with my daughter. I get to compete with all of my kids in go-kart racing. And on top of that, it's almost like I've got dozens and dozens of kids. I can't tell you how many kids we have racing out there that their eyes light up when they see me. Hey, Mr. Josh, how you doing? Uh, when are we racing again, Mr. Josh? I see them all over town, and it means the world to me. Um, that's not to mention the fact that a lot of the kids, I'm not going to say a lot, we have a few kids that have had different, if you see them out in public, you might think, oh, that kid's kind of strange, or that kid's got this disorder, or that kid's autistic, or whatever the case may be. To see these kids develop and learn how to do something that in general people think, oh, to race cars or go-karts, you've got to be at this level, or you got to be this type of person, or you got to be this smart. And while, yeah, that's true, you do have to be smart. You do have to have certain abilities, certain talents. It's not a standard set of abilities. You take these kids that would normally get picked last, or something's wrong with them, like I said, and to watch their progress from being scared to hear a go kart run to freaking out the first time we crank up a go kart with them sitting in it, to watching them just fly by two or three other go-karts and win. We've got one little girl that, she just did not want anything to do with it when we first started. She had the time of her life with me pulling her around on a go-kart that wasn't running. And there came an instance a while back where she flipped her go-kart with the, she, of course, she has a cage, but she rolled it. And the first thing she said when we got over there is my car okay? Can I keep going? And to see that progression of these kids is just amazing to me. Trying to think about what 593 is all about and what it means to not just me, but to my family, to all of the other families, is probably one of the most difficult questions that I'm ever going to get asked, because it doesn't just mean one thing to me or one thing to someone else. I mean, it is more than a go-kart track. That's the best way to describe it. This track has become, and these people, these racers, have become like family. And to say I need to share one instance, I can't do that. Um, there's too many to count. I could give you dozens and dozens, but if I had to say one memory that is probably one of the most memorable memories, it would have to be one of the first times that me and my daughter actually raced against each other. It was actually after the races one night, and she was talking a little bit of smack, so I decided I'm gonna put a whooping on her. I'm gonna outrun her really really bad, and show her who the boss is. And so we lined up. We went to make our laps coming around to the green flag, and she reached over and turned my engine off and took off. And that is probably one of the most memorable and funny events or funny things that have happened at the track. Uh, but it's always something new. Every week there's something that happens that is memorable, something we talk about until the next race. With having this track, we've faced a lot of hurdles, some ups and downs, and one of the ups has been our growth. Um, the track started on a whim. It wasn't supposed to ever be anything like it is now. It was something that was just an idea, and it started growing, and it become more every time we raced, every time someone invited someone else. And we moved the track to the location that we're at now, and I wanted to make sure that everything that I did and all of the people that were coming to race had somewhere that they could race and continue to race. And it wasn't just some fly-by-night thing. I wanted to do things the right way. I wanted to make sure that we did everything that was asked of us. I'm not a super smart person, don't really know very much about business at all. But what I do know is I want this to continue for everyone. And part of that is meeting all of the rules, the regulations, stipulations, following the law. So we started, looking into it. I say my wife, a few friends that have helped me along the way. And one of the things that come up was that while, yes, we were on private property and we could race and have a good time all we wanted, I felt deep down that this was something that needed to be shared. We needed to let more people in on this thing that we found. This I don't know how to describe it. I really can't. All the regular words just don't seem like they do it justice. But in order to do that, I had to make sure everything was done right. We got a business license. We got tax ID numbers. We got in touch with the city, found out that we needed to get a conditional use permit because where we were at, while it's just a bunch of huge open fields and cow pastures, we still needed to get a conditional use permit because it wasn't zoned commercial or industrial like the track would need it to be. So we went through that process and did everything that the planning and zoning employees of the city asked us to do. So part of that conditional use permit was going to the city council and explaining to them what we wanted to do and having them vote on whether or not we were going to be issued the conditional use permit. We went through the process that is laid out, got surveys, had the city employees look at the noise impacts. We had, the road had to be a certain width. All of these things that we had to do before the meeting was all presented to the council. The council looked at everything. They asked a few questions of us, and we had a lot of support. I can't tell you, we'd have to go back and look, but I know that probably only half of the people that showed up to support us were able to speak because of the time constraints that were placed on us at the meeting. They didn't stop us from talking, but there's a certain point when you have to let the meeting continue. And if we had everybody talk, we would have had the meeting tied up all night. They spoke with a few people that were against it. We did have a few neighbors that don't like the noise and dust and a couple of other issues that we've since mitigated the best we can, and tried to meet them in the middle. Well, the city council talked about it amongst themselves and discussed different aspects of it, and ultimately they voted, and the majority voted yes, that we could have our conditional use permit. And they put a few stipulations on us as far as what times that we can race and how often we can race, which none of the constraints were a problem for us because we didn't meet those or push the limits of the restrictions that they put in place. Anyway, that they gave us more time than we needed, but they still went as far as to make sure it couldn't get out of hand to become a nuisance for any of the neighbors. We've done, I can't, just countless amount of hours and money have been put into the track, and everything that we do, I try my best to take the neighbors and the surrounding community into consideration. One of the things that we did to address one of the concerns is I knew that dust was going to be a concern, and it was mentioned by one of the neighbors. So we put crushed asphalt down the majority of the road so that when we drive in and out, the crushed asphalt, of course being crushed blacktop, doesn't create dust like limestone, dirt, or gravel. We go as far as to, on race days, we put plenty of water down on the track. We also have the track topped with red clay, which red clay is of course, clay sandy mixture. Not really any dust or topsoil, which is what creates dust. So that keeps that down. We've put fences up to mitigate the noise. We make sure that everybody has mufflers on all of their engines. No one is allowed to race without without the mufflers on their engines. We also went as far as to take the loudest or noisiest class, which would be the 4-cylinder micro sprints. They have the same engines as street bikes. One of the neighbors showed a video or shared a video that had these in the background. You could hear them very, very well. So we went as far as to not race those particular types of karts anymore. If I could talk to the neighbors openly and honestly, I would tell them that I understand where they're coming from. While I may not agree and I may not be able to understand their views in the small aspect with the small amount of time that we race, I do understand where they're coming from, and I have no right to tell them what does or doesn't or should or shouldn't bother them. But at the same time, I would hope that they would, return the same consideration and think about all of the kids and even the adults, the families, the people that get so much enjoyment out of this. We do our best to only race 2 times a month. Each race is 1 day. It's anywhere from 5 to 8 hours per race. So I understand that if you do hear it, or it is a bother, or it's a nuisance to you, I have compassion for that, and we've done everything we can to mitigate it. But I would like you to know that if there is anything more that we can do, if you have any ideas or anything that you can think of that we haven't, I'm an open book. Come see me, give me a phone call. I'll come meet you. We can go have dinner. Come to the track. What I will say is that every one of the neighbors that have come to the track and seen the track and experienced the race for themselves, they still come. They enjoy themselves. I know I've spoken to a few of you that aren't in favor of the track, but I haven't seen any of you at the track or been able to meet with you one-on-one to discuss it. And I would really, really like to do that. No matter how this goes moving forward, I would like to still meet with anyone that's opposed or has an issue with the track, so we can see if there's anything that we can do that we're not, to make everyone happy. So not long after the conditional use permit was approved, we found out that there was a group of individuals that were suing the city over the decision to approve our process. They named myself and the property owner as well as the track in this, and it felt, I don't know, it felt disheartening. While I know that everything's going to work out in the end, it still is a little bit discouraging that there are people out there that don't want something like this to happen and can't take others into consideration. I feel like we've done so many things to help take everyone into consideration, everyone's thoughts, everyone's concerns, that they basically don't care about any of us or what we want. They want no compromise. They just don't want it to happen. I know that we're still going to be able to race. I know that we're still going to be able to continue to race the karts and enjoy the property, enjoy the track. But the fact that there are people that don't want us to continue to do that is, it really is just disheartening. one of my biggest concerns with all of this is if the judge does decide that the city council did something in error and overturns their decision, um, having to go through this process again to basically reapply to get everything done, just to end up where we're at again, because it's going to, I feel like it would be just a never ending cycle. We haven't done anything wrong. We follow the law, we followed the procedures, we did everything that we were supposed to do. The city council took everything into consideration and did everything they were supposed to do, and they granted it. There is a process like what we're going through where they get sued and a judge looks at everything and decides whether or not they did. Well, if the judge overturns it, then that means that we have to start over. We have to go back to the city and basically reapply for a new permit and make sure that we don't repeat the same mistakes. I guess one of my biggest concerns would be that if we get to that point and the city decides, you know what, we we did everything we wanted to or should have the first time, and it got overturned. We spent all this money fighting this legal battle, and it got overturned. We don't want to try to do it again, so we're not going to issue you a new permit. And that, I guess that would be one of my biggest concerns. It doesn't mean that we'll have to stop racing. It means that we will no longer be able to be a commercial entity. It'll go back to just me paying for everything on private property, letting everybody come and race, and we won't be able to collect money to make the track any better, pay any of the bills or anything like that. So anybody that wants to support 593, of course, the obvious answer would be to come on out to the track when we have a race and spend some time with us, hang out, enjoy the track. That's what it's there for. We take donations. We take the biggest thing is labor. We need help. I have a couple of devoted parents that help with different things, from the registration to the social media, some of the videos and such as that. But actually hands-on, picking the trash up after the races, getting the track ready, working on the water pumps, helping the kids or the other adults and racers that are new to the sport that just don't know what they're doing. They need help as well, and I try my best to help them. A lot of our other racers and members try to help them as we go. But it all boils down to coming on out to the track and let's help each other. One thing I would like to say and just remind everybody, we are a family-oriented facility. We are a family-oriented place, and I don't want anybody that cares deeply and passionately about the track to act negatively to anyone else that may not feel the same way or may not like the track or feel that we are a nuisance. They have the right to feel that way. I don't want anybody to post anything or talk to them in any kind of bad way. Just like we got a right to love the track and love everything that we're doing, they do have a right to feel like it's a nuisance. So just remember, the kids are watching. They look up to us, everyone, and we should always be aware that they're watching us and hold ourselves to a higher standard than those who seek to put us down. If this is the first time you're hearing about 593 Motorsports Kart Club, the number one thing I would like everyone to remember is we are here to help teach the kids and the teenagers and adults as well. It's not, these things don't have to be drilled into just kids. Everyone. We're a family-oriented facility. We're here to have fun and teach them how to be better adults, how to have better sportsmanship, how to handle adversity, loss. Myself, I still have to learn patience when dealing with uh, the karting, the track, all of the people. I'm still learning myself. So I guess above all else, this is a learning facility, but we're here to have fun.